Afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Smidlin and I work for Advanced Biological Marketing. And I'm here in Heathville, Virginia at the Jason Dawson Chemgro plot. And ABM has had the privilege of providing Chemgro with seed inoculants for a number of years. Typically, when people think of seed inoculants and biological seed treatments, they think of the rhizobia inoculants that are used in the nitrogen fixation process to stimulate nodulization on legume products. And that's very important. We're going to talk about that in just a minute or so. But I want to talk to you about something else. I want to talk to you about biological seed treatments that are used to enhance plant growth. Typically, when you hear biological seed treatments, you think of either mycorrhizae or trichoderma. They've been studied for a number of years and have been proven to improve plant growth, plant development, and also plant health. They've been known to increase photosynthesis and carbohydrate metabolism, and when I say they've been known to, they've been proven to do this. They've been proven to increase the development of roots within the plant. One of my favorite things that they've been proven to do is to help the plant mitigate stresses, the stresses that the plant encounters, during the typical growing season, whether it be drought stress, heat stress, etc. So I want to illustrate to you some of the hybrids here that we have that have been treated versus untreated. So what I would like to do is show you some of the differences between corn treated with the growth stimulant Sabrex versus untreated product. So what Jason has done, he's been kind enough to, in his plot, to treat half of the plot with Sabrex for corn, and also leave the other portion as a control. And what we're looking at here is a Chemgro variety 7505 RDP. And again, this over on the left has the Sabrex treatment, and the right 3 rows is untreated corn. And the first thing I'd like you to take a look at is the height of the corn, and you can kind of see a difference between the treated versus the untreated corn. But I want to show you more. One of the things that Sabrex has been proven to do is increase root development. And you can clearly see on this corn that's been treated with Sabrex, you can clearly see a difference in the development of root mass. It's a much larger and healthier and very robust root system versus the untreated. Significant difference in root development. Now, how's that going to help you? I typically look at the roots of the plant as the mouth of the plant. And one very important thing that it's going to do, it's going to allow that plant to gather up many more of these expensive nutrients that you're putting into this crop, which ultimately will result in higher yields. Now, we pulled some corn samples here as well, and you can look and compare this. These are treated with Sabrex versus the untreated. But there's something else besides the size of the ear, which we feel confident is going to result in higher yields this fall. I also want you to note the health of the plants and the health of the corn. The Sabrex treated consistently just shows much better plant health. The next hybrid we'll take a look at is Chemgro hybrid number 7185 RDP, again treated versus the untreated variety. Wow, look at the rooting system on this plant, treated with Sabrex for corn versus the untreated. Very significant difference in the root development. Again, you can see we seem to have larger, more girthy, healthier ears with the treated versus the untreated hybrid. The next hybrid that we have to illustrate is Chemgro's variety 7145 RDP. Again, the treated versus the untreated. Look at the rooting system on this hybrid. Large, robust rooting system with the treated hybrid. versus the untreated. Significant difference. Again, ear size, a little larger, a little healthier, maybe not as much different as some of the previous varieties that we've seen. The next hybrid that we want to take a look at is Chemgro hybrid number 7095 RDP. Again, we have the treated on this side versus the untreated. In these rooting systems, there isn't such a significant difference between the treated and untreated. And we can surely accept that. We don't win them all. It looks like we do have a little bit larger ear development with the treated product versus the untreated. One thing that's really important is setting the expectations when you're using Sabrex for corn. What we see at ABM on over 400 plots over the last 4 years, we see right around an 8.5 bushel to the acre yield increase advantage. It's very important. Return on investment. That's about an 8-to-1 return on investment. Typically costs around a bushel or just a little bit over a bushel to apply Sabrex to your corn. There are a couple of different ways to apply this. One is in a planter box treatment. So this is the Sabrex combined with a graphite and talc carrier. It's very easy to use and easy to apply. When you put the seed in the planter, you simply put the product on top of the seed, and it serves as your lubrication needs and also as the Sabrex biological growth stimulant. We also have in-furrow products. You can apply this in-furrow. It's a liquid Sabrex treatment that actually goes on in-furrow and can be used with most common fungicide and insecticide applications with great success. And then there's also a seed treatment that we put on with professional seed treaters. Chemgro is offering Sabrex on a number of their hybrids that have been put on by the professional seed treating system that they have. And I highly recommend that. You know that it's getting on there correctly, and you can expect very good results from it. So I want to take just a couple of minutes here to review some of the benefits that you can expect from the Chemgro hybrids treated with Sabrex for corn. We've mentioned plant growth and development, which is pretty obvious. Here's again is the treated versus untreated varieties. We've talked about the root development that helps the plant gather up more of these expensive nutrients that you put into the crop. But I want to also mention and emphasize the importance of stress mitigation when using Sabrex for corn. Sabrex for corn, although we can't change the weather that we get during the growing season, Sabrex can influence how the crop responds to the weather conditions, whether it be heat or drought, and it can lessen the severity of these adverse conditions. I mentioned before, on average we see about 8.5 bushels to the acre difference between treated versus untreated. But you can expect as you get adverse conditions, we'll hope that you don't get these during the growing season, but if you do, you can expect the yield range to widen when you're using Sabrex for corn. So one tremendous advantage, one of the many tremendous advantages to using Sabrex for corn. But I do want to mention to you, one thing that we do a lot as a company is do replicated independent research, university testing, etc. What I have here is one trial out of Cochranville, Pennsylvania. Was done with JG Ag Services. And in this particular trial, we had 4 replications of treated versus untreated product. And we had 18 bushel to the acre difference with the treated product versus the untreated. And again, that was 4 replications. Again, that is not what we typically see. We typically see around 8.5 bushel to the acre difference. Also, last year we did a replicated block trial here at Jason Dawson's, and we saw anywhere from an 8 bushel to a 25 bushel to the acre increase with Sabrex treated corn versus the control.